what happens for a lot of guys when you're raised by a single mother before getting into shape is that you feel that the more you do to show people that you're not like your father, the more that they're going to accept who you are. And that was the trap that I fell into. And I had to realize that, I had to accept that my father was exactly the way he is and that I'm no different from him. Because when I started to think that I was different from him, that's when I started to move more and more and more to being a nice guy. Let me give you an example. My father, super an attractive guy. I'm 6'2", he was 6'7", played semi-pro basketball, lighter complexion than me. And so during that time, the light skin was in or whatever the case may be, could pull women, played sports, very charismatic. But the one problem that he had was he didn't know how to control his urges. He didn't know how to control his lust when it came down to females. So when it came down to making a split decision of saying, hey, I'm not going to sleep with every woman that comes my way or shows me interest, he fell into that trap. And along with falling into that trap, he also fell into drinking more when problems arise. And so, me growing up as a kid, hearing these stories from my mother, right? Because I didn't have that close relationship. I was like, oh, it's easy. I'm not going to do what he did, right? So I used to pride myself on, oh, at least I don't drink like my father, or at least I'm not screwing every female like my father. You know what I mean? And ultimately, what happened was when it came down to being a masculine man in my relationships, all of a sudden I was sitting here and I was, overcompensating. I was the type of guy that was sending more than necessary, and I do mean more than necessary, text messages just to make sure I was validated with the woman that I was with. And all in all, those relationships either fizzled out or either, we ended up going separate ways due to career paths. And it still left me feeling like I needed to jump into the next relationship. So I was more so of a serial relationship or a serial dater where instead of me focusing like how I did after my divorce on building my body so that way I can rebuild my identity and actually align with that new identity, I was jumping in new relationships instead to find my identity. And therefore, that is a recipe for disaster.